different. Even though people think that it's so regimented and so strict, there's this weird flexibility of decision making and getting things done, like things that you would never expect to be able to do in weird ways, but you get the job done, and every day's different.
No, that's true. That's very true. So what would you say is your greatest character strength?
My greatest character strength, I would think, would be, and it's so corny, it comes back to like basic training and stuff, but it's doing things right even when people aren't looking. So it's knowing that I'm always doing the right thing and what's best, not only for myself, but for other people and for the customers, even when they're not looking. So if I try to sell you on something, especially with social media, I see it all the time because some people say, hey, I'll make this video for you. You're going to get 1 million views. You're going to do all this. Listen, I'm going to make a video for you, but all it is one at bat, because you need to take 365 at bats. You need to be taking swings every single day in order to get successful. There's not a magic pill. If I may sell more videos if I say I'm going to do that, but quite frankly, more often than not, I'm going to fall short because the algorithm doesn't lend to people just putting out one video once a year. The algorithm likes consistency. The algorithm likes very compelling content, and you got to always be putting out content and doing that. So it's always having a level of just the fact that you're always going to do the right thing or be honest with people generally.
And the flip side of that coin for the next question, what would you say is your greatest weakness then?
My greatest weakness is communication, which is why I suck at communicating with my employees right now. I suck at keeping up with talking to everyone everywhere because my attention is all over the place. So trying to streamline that kind of stuff is definitely my weakness. And I'm not sure if at one point I'm just going to have someone help me to do that or I'm going to strengthen it. I'm not really sure my best mode of doing that because sometimes it gives me life to talk to people, especially about snakes. Like it really keeps me going. And then sometimes when enough's enough, I may need sometimes I ask my girlfriend to go in, she needs to come off the bench and answer some messages and stuff like that because I'm just overwhelmed, so it's definitely communication in one form or another.
Yeah, I can relate with that one. So as far as with your brainstorming and getting ideas, is there a particular place you go to, going out in nature, walking, jogging, or, a certain spot in the house that you go to get your ideas?
Yeah, I find that it's really hard to get ideas with a busy mind. And I'm always busy, but you need to find those spots to get that kind of clear your mind. So usually I use exercise. So I'm not going to do an hour of doing nothing, but I may take a 20-minute run and then I will, and that's usually out in nature on trails or something like that. Even though I live in Philadelphia city limits, I can find a trail and a park to go hang out in. And it's usually just sitting on a rock, or while running, I'll get ideas and stuff like that, or sitting on a rock just watching nature, and I'll write a lot of my scripts and stuff like that. I'll do that in that space. It's hard for me to sit down and force myself to get good stuff out, which I have to do sometimes, but that's the way I prefer it, is kind of being in nature, getting your body moving, and then kind of calming your mind.
Sure. So if you're describing what you do with your business at a very high level, from the business owner standpoint, assuming, hypothetically that there's somebody listening that wants to go into the same kind of business that you're doing, how would you describe that?
Man, well, it's hard because it's not like, I think everyone's situation is going to be different. And I don't think there's one way to do things. And I don't think I have the best way to do things, but just being me is just trying to do everything at this point. I don't have the employees knocked down or anything like that. I don't have everything down. So it's just if I was to explain it to someone, it's like just constantly swimming upstream in rapids. I mean, I'm just constantly being hit from all angles with everything. And I have to do all those things, especially as a small business owner. I think you got to be ready to do everything. I mean, I got to, like I was talking about before, I got to do my QuickBooks and I got to put my expenses on there. I got to do all that stuff myself. And it's definitely hard. It's not, I think a lot of people go into business for this leisurely life. I think they want the freedom to create their own schedule. Quite frankly, my schedule is I wake up to when I go to sleep, and that's my work schedule. And most of the time, that's every day of the week. I don't have the ability yet to take off after 9 to 5 or to take off the weekend. Most of the times, I'm just working. So I don't know if that's a negative to people trying to get into it, but I mean, that's what it takes. And I enjoy it, but you got to be willing to do that.
Well, and that's part of the reality of, when you're starting a business is, as an entrepreneur, especially, probably the first, call it 3 years or so, it's definitely going to look like that, you're not going to have as much, you time as, you would think. It sounds really sexy, to be an entrepreneur, but truth be told, there's a whole lot that goes into it in the very beginning. And then, slowly over time, as the processes and the procedures kind of get worked out, and then you start outsourcing certain things that you discover, really I'm worth more than what I can pay somebody to do that thing for me. And so you start outsourcing. And then, once that happens, then you kind of discover, a little bit more time. And then before long, it kind of works itself out. But, especially in the very beginning, it is like what you're experiencing, that, you're doing a lot of the business stuff, from, dusk till dawn, so to speak.
Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah. So kind of in winding up, what is something this is sort of my trivia question that I end the program with. What's something about you that most people don't know?
Oh man, it's hard because I try to put so much out there and I try to let people know. I think that's part of my whole strategy is getting people to know exactly what I feel, exactly what I think. That's part of the authenticity that works on social media. But definitely something that people don't know, I think, is that I'm never satisfied and I'm very scared that I will never, ever be satisfied. I think that's what drives me in the business. And it's also going to be an Achilles heel because I don't know if I'll ever be satisfied with where I am. I don't think I'll ever think I'm successful. And that seems scary. It pumps me up in a weird way because I know that I'll keep on going, hopefully, until I die or otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's my greatest strength. It's my greatest fear. And it's my greatest ally and greatest enemy all at the same time.
Yeah, and that's certainly a good trait to have, though, because that means that the quality of what you do and the quality of the life that you're going to live is always going to be at its upper level. When you're never satisfied with anything less than the best. That's a good trait. Well, Joe, I appreciate you certainly taking time out of your schedule to be able to be with us today. And I want to give you an opportunity to let the listeners know how they can get a hold of you, though, because they with your media business and the snake breeding business, there's going to be people that are interested in it. So how do they get a hold of you?
Awesome. I appreciate you having me on the show. And my info is my snake breeding business is called Port City Pythons. So it's Port City Pythons, pretty much YouTube, Instagram, portcitypythons.com, as well as, and that's also Facebook, all that good stuff. My name is Joe Phelan. Just find me on Facebook. Joe, last name Phelan, which I know is confusing. And then also atroxmedia.com. So Atrox Media is going to be the media arm of my company. what I do is, I don't know if you know Donnie's Success Champions. I actually edit Donnie's podcast. He's a fellow veteran. And I obviously have my own podcast. And what I do is produce podcasts and edit podcasts as well as post-production on videos. So I'll edit social media videos. I'll shoot some and all that good stuff. Yes. So you can check me out pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And Donnie's a good friend of mine. So yeah, good stuff going out there. So for all the listeners here, reach out to Joe either through either of the two websites that he's got going, and take advantage of his his skill, his experience, and what he has to offer you, because it's certainly something that can help get you to the next level. And like I enjoy telling all of my guests, I will see you around the bend, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
You've been listening to Legacy Cast. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to come back next time as we speak with more top influencers, industry experts, and business owners from around the world.